Right now at 11 o'clock, we're following breaking news. 3 people are dead in a triple homicide. A 17-year-old is shot in Beech Grove. Israel has launched what it calls a preemptive strike. A man is dead after a shooting on the city's east side. Right now at 10 o'clock, a historic convention upset. Micah Beckwith is the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor. Your statewide news network covers Lake County, where a man has been detained for stabbing a teenager. We now know the name of the man in custody for apparently trying to assassinate former President Trump. The man's name is Ryan Wesley Routh. He's 58 years old and a construction worker with a criminal history. Routh's motive is still unclear. The attempted assassination happened here at Trump's International Golf Course in Florida around 1:30 this afternoon. Today marks 20 years since the death of Indianapolis police officer Jake Laird. He died in the line of duty. Dozens of IMPD officers honored him at a memorial this week. Jake's mother, Debbie, spoke to the crowd of officers, some of whom were injured in the same gunfire that killed her son. She thanked them for supporting her and her family through their loss. IU Indianapolis just launched its first new degree program since dissolving IUPUI. The Community and Organizational Leadership Studies program offers a bachelor's degree, minor, or certificate option. School leadership says the goal of the program is to empower students from all walks of life to make a difference in the world. A federal court is allowing Indiana's porn verification law to go into effect. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is praising the decision, saying it protects children. The law requires pornography websites to verify users' ages. That could be done by uploading a photo of a driver's license. Pornhub has previously said it would shut down in Indiana if the bill went into effect. It's not clear if the company will follow through on that. Sports director Anthony Calhoun joins us right here in studio.
Yeah.
Those Colts were in Green Bay today. Not the outcome we hoped for, but
you're right about that. I know you spent some time in Green Bay, so you know a lot about the Packers. And of course, Indy's home for you.
Tough to see him match up.
You were rooting for the Colts today, though, right?
Of course. Right now at 6 o'clock, one person is dead and another critically injured after a shooting on the city's north side. It happened just before 3:30 this morning on Carrollton Avenue. That's just south of Fall Creek. At the scene, police say they found a man in a home. Later, they found a second man shot at the intersection of College Avenue and Fall Creek Parkway. A third man discovered outside between 2 houses was pronounced dead. IMPD says they believe all 3 are related. The international grocery store Saraga celebrated an iconic anniversary this afternoon. News 8's Kyla Russell spent the day at the store's vibrant food festival. 7 U.S. troops are injured after a raid against ISIS. The raid happened Thursday night in Iraq. U.S. Central Command says it took out 15 ISIS operatives who were armed with numerous weapons, including grenades and suicide belts. The injured troops are all stable. CENTCOM says there is no sign of any civilian casualties. Officials say President Biden has been briefed on the raid. The Pacers are back in action tonight for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. It's set to tip a little after 8:30 inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Tonight's matchup will be vital for the Pacers as they hope to dig out of their current 2-0 deficit against the Celtics. One thing's for sure, the players are glad to be back home. Now at 10 o'clock, we're following a developing shooting on the Near East Side. Police say 2 women were shot. Officers say one of them was in critical condition, but now both are considered stable. That's all IMPD has released at this hour. We'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more here on Wish TV and on wishtv.com. This weekend, if you pull into any one of the entrances at IMS, you will likely be greeted by a friendly face dressed in an infamous yellow shirt. Well, each one of these faces has their own 500 story, oftentimes steeped in history. News 8's Kyla Russell got to hear one of those stories. Andrew Chernoff joins us now in studio. Andrew, Brickyard Weekend is in full swing, and I hear we had a lot of drama today.
I'll tell you what, if you were a fan at Indianapolis Motor Speedway today, you got your money's worth.
We're taking a look now at Lucas Oil Stadium. We're all ready for some fall football, but that fall weather is just not here yet, Drew. No. How much longer do we have to wait?
I think we have to wait about another week.
Labor Day weekend is off to the races, at least out at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. News 8's Kyla Russell spent the day out on the West Side track. Turning to the weather now, as we take a live look out on the White River State Park. It's hot there this evening. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsudis joins us now for a first look at the forecast. Drew, what are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at heat, certainly.
Indiana Democratic Representative Andre Carson joins us now. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. What is your reaction to this historic announcement?
Well, I think it's an exciting moment in American history. I think it's a monumental moment in American history.
Is that your official endorsement for Vice President Harris as the nominee?
Absolutely. 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 I'm very supportive of her.
Do you have a candidate in mind for vice president?
Well, that's too soon to say. The ultimate decision will rest on the shoulders of Vice President Harris, but we're going to back her all the way.
And how do you think the Democratic Party will fare in the November election?
Well, I'm hopeful. My hope is that her candidacy will help many members who are in so-called imperiled districts or marginal districts.
And do you believe President Biden should have dropped out sooner in this election cycle?
Well, listen, I'm not going to try to Monday morning quarterback this thing. It is what it is. It has happened. We're so grateful for his decades of service.
Thank you, Representative Carson, for joining us this evening. We look forward to hearing from you as this develops.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
A federal judge has issued a new ruling on Indiana's age verification bill for porn sites. What happens now and how Attorney General Todd Rokita is responding. New rulings in the Delphi murders case. How the judge is keeping the focus on Richard Allen.
And it looks like we still have a few more pop-up showers and thunder showers that could be around this evening. More chances for that tomorrow, but afterwards, beautiful weather coming our way.
News 8 at 6 starts now.
A federal court is allowing Indiana's porn verification law to go into effect. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is praising the decision, saying it protects children. The law requires pornography websites to verify users' ages. That could be done by uploading a photo of a driver's license. Pornhub has previously said it would shut down in Indiana if the bill went into effect. It's not clear if the company will follow through on that. Turning to IT-Mate, where the judge in the Delphi murders case has rejected a request to dismiss charges against Richard Allen. Allen is accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German. The defense claims that evidence against another suspect was destroyed, so charges should be dismissed. Judge Frances Gull rejected the request to sanction prosecutors over discovery delays, but she did order the state to hand over the report to the defense. Gull tells both sides to exchange a list of trial exhibits by October 1st. Richard Allen is due back in court next week. The trial is now set to start October 14th. Happening now, St. Thomas Aquinas Church is holding its 20th annual Sausage Fest. The annual fundraiser features pizza, beer, and wine, in addition to, of course, sausage. Organizers say they are excited to welcome anyone and everyone to the festival.
Call it the best fest in the Midwest is one of our many mottos. It's not uncommon to see this many people here. A lot of people like to come early, and a lot of people like to stay late too.
The festival also has inflatables, games, and face painting. Gates are open until midnight. The inaugural Indy Summer Foodie Social is happening this weekend. Local food vendors are coming together to showcase their talent and the Circle City's growing food scene. News 8's Colin Bailey spoke with two of the vendors today. Turning to the weather now as we take a live look outside over Lucas Oil Stadium. The roof will be closed tonight for the preseason game, but the windows will be open. Storm Track 8 meteorologist Drew Narsutis joins us with a look of what we can expect tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the best call.
Researchers are planting heat sensors all around Bloomington. How Indiana University is using them to find ways to beat the heat.
Wish TV News, reaching more Indiana homes than any TV station in the state. Watching Wish TV, Indiana's only statewide TV news network. This is breaking news.
And right now at 11 o'clock, we continue to follow historic breaking news tonight. President Joe Biden ending his bid for re-election, dropping out of the presidential race less than 4 months before the election. It's a decision the president says is in the best interest of his party and the country.
Biden has thrown his endorsement to his vice president, Kamala Harris, as the party's candidate to take on Donald Trump in November. But it's unclear at this hour if she will be able to win the Democratic Party's nomination. We have complete team coverage tonight of how voters and lawmakers here in Indiana are reacting.
But we begin this hour in Washington, where Brian Abel tells us more about the historic nature of President Biden's decision. Meanwhile, here in Indiana, lawmakers in our state are responding to President Biden's decision tonight.
News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist joins us now with their reactions.
Danielle and Phil, one of Indiana's Democratic congressmen already has endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
Continuing our team coverage with News 8's Kyla Russell.
And Kyla, you spent the evening chatting with voters.
Yeah, Phil, Danielle. So I went to 2 bustling spots downtown to catch up with Hoosiers and hear where they're at.
Kyla, thank you. Our team coverage of President Biden's decision continues tonight online at wishtv.com. And be sure to tune in to Daybreak tomorrow morning for the latest information. It starts at 4 in the morning, right here on Wish TV.
All right, coming up, the director of the Secret Service facing tough questions tonight on the assassination attempt of former President Trump. What lawmakers are saying ahead of her testimony to Congress.
And it looks like we have some showers for the remainder of this upcoming work week. However, they're unlikely to hit every day. We'll talk more coming up.
Wish TV News, reaching more Indiana homes than any TV station in the state.
It's like catching lightning in a bottle. That's what experts at Indiana University say about the major impact Taylor Swift's Eras Tour will have on Indianapolis. There is a significant amount of damage here in Winchester. I'm standing in front of what used to be a Taco Bell behind the street from me here. We have talked to people that have been on the ground here all night. They say the Taco Bell is completely gone. People are still holding on to hope. Destiny Wells, running for Attorney General, is the only statewide race that hasn't been called.
Having 2 camps in the Republican Party right now affected the 2022 election and maybe less of a red wave than people had expected.
Well, Danielle, when I look at the results of the midterm elections.
Let's take a look at what it has to offer. It spans 24 miles and starts over here on the west side of town at the airport, then runs through the near west, downtown, historic east, and Cumberland areas along Washington Street. Keep Indianapolis Beautiful has been keeping the city cleaner and greener for the last 50 years. But the recent loss of a grant is going to slow their progress. This is a police shooting. I'm going to get right out of the way here, give you a look. We are at 16th and Meridian at this CVS. The primary scene seems to be in the drive-thru. Despite running after Council President Vop Osili, he did not take questions after the meeting. Why did you vote to remove Jesse Brown from the caucus? Why did you vote to remove him? You're a coward. While that draft is happening in New York, it really feels like Indianapolis is the center of the universe for women's basketball. Hoosiers have been dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene with strong winds and rain in Indiana. But this is nothing compared to those who lived through the storm at its strongest. An off-duty IMPD officer held the suspect at gunpoint in the parking lot until other law enforcement arrived. Now that happened in the parking lot behind me here. This will just allow IMPD another tool to help get kids off the streets after the last 3 weekends of violence in Indianapolis. Each of the Hoosiers I spoke to today had a different story. 2 were on vacation and rode out the storm. Another was a mother living in Florida without the means to evacuate. You heard from her a day before the storm. All are fine now, but still shaken up. Normally, if I would hold this up to the sun, we'll have you take a look here, you would see circles come through. But because the sun is partially obscured at this point, you're just seeing crescent moons. This is just showing you just how little of the sun is left in the sky. Jesse Brown's supporters are fighting back after learning he was removed from the Democratic Caucus last night. We brought you that news first on News 8 at 10. Jesse Brown represents District 13 on the Near East Side of Indianapolis. He says his removal from the Democratic Caucus disenfranchises his constituents. His wife, Mary Kate Dugan, agrees.
It makes me really sad and angry to see that our district, District 13, has not been given the same representation as the other districts. It's not fair.
Brown says 13 Democrats voted to remove him. They are Maggie Lewis, Carlos Perkins, Leroy Robinson, Vop Osili, Frank Mascari, Andy Nielsen, Nick Roberts, Allie Brown, Breanne Delaney, Keith Graves, John Barth, Rena Allen, and Ron Gibson. Brown says removal from the caucus means he will no longer receive closed-door briefings from the Hogsett administration or be in the room to discuss matters with colleagues before council meetings. Brown says it is unfair that he only has 3 committee assignments when other freshman councilors have 6.
We want him to be appointed to 6 committees to give our district equal representation to every other area of the city.
On Tuesday morning, Brown shared his concern that he would be stripped of his committee appointments too. This did not happen at Tuesday's heated Committee on Committees meeting, but instead routine business took place. This did not stop supporters from flooding the meeting. Despite running after Council President Vop Osili, he did not take questions after the meeting.
Why did you vote to remove Jesse Brown from the caucus? Why did you vote to remove him? You're a coward!
Republican Minority Leader Michael Paul Hart spoke briefly after the meeting.
That's their actions, that's their decisions. I don't know what their relationships are internally, so they made their decisions and they'll continue to move forward with their decision.
I also tried to speak to Keith Graves, who voted to remove Brown at an Education Committee meeting.
Do you want to do an interview about Jesse Brown?
No.
John Barth, Carlos Perkins, and Leroy Robinson did not attend this Education Committee meeting after voting to remove Brown on Monday night.
Brown says he plans to fight this removal so the people of District 13 have fair representation. He is still a voting member of the City County Council and the committees he sits on. I'm Danielle Zulkosky for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.